bounce.
Doubles and singles Drumeo with Instructor Aaron Graham.
It can be tricky.
Doubles
if you
and singles.
That threshold slowly, then it's tough to start to think about the mechanics in your hand and click that switch from wrist stroke to bounce stroke, right? So that's the tricky part. And just purely starting slow and speeding up like what I was just doing. I found that students have trouble because when you go slowly, then it feels like you have to flip the switch at some point where you're going from full wrist stroke, and I should demonstrate this. So if I'm going to play a full wrist stroke on those doubles, watch my wrist here. You can see, I'm doing full stroke, right? If I go a little faster, but if I start to let the stick bounce, especially if I go a little faster, you can see that it just turns into one stroke instead of double, double, double. So that's the tricky part, is one wrist stroke or arm stroke and actually letting the stick bounce twice, right? So I encourage you, if you could try it that way. That again, today is all about giving you a few ways to approach getting speed higher for your doubles, right? So that's one way, is starting just 16 notes to a measure of singles, to a measure of doubles. Bump up the speed a couple BPM every day, if you want to practice every day, and see how that works. And just know that there's a threshold where you can't play two wrist strokes. You have to start to let the stick down. And so that's one way, right? And like I said, I found that way can be tricky for students over the years. And so I want to kind of give you a couple other ways too. So number two, this is the way I like to teach people who have never done double strokes before. And it's to transition from doing a buzz stroke to a double stroke.
Right.
So what I mean, first of all, let's talk about a buzz stroke. So if you don't know what I mean when I say buzz stroke, or if you never tried to do one
buzz
as well,
is where it's more buried.
All we're going to do is let the stick bounce. So rather than playing and kind of letting the stick naturally rebound like we would, and just getting one note, I'm going to squeeze a little bit in my fulcrum, which can be your pointer finger and thumb, or it might be your pointer finger, middle finger and thumb, and I'm going to let the stick bounce, right? And so I encourage you to try that. Just all you got to do is squeeze a little bit with your fulcrum, a little bit more than you would, and just the easiest way I've ever heard it described to get a buzz stroke is to squeeze a little bit and press the drumstick into the head. So you kind of want to press it down. We're not like killing it or anything. Just, I know it probably doesn't translate super well on this EP, but you want to get a couple of buzzes out of it. Try what you do. If you have a little bit of fingers flying out like this, that's okay. A lot of people do that. So let's just try
Chicken wings.
just to get these buzzes
chicken wings.
Hey, how you doing? 4 normal notes, 4 buzz notes. So you can see, I'm trying to let it bounce.
Let it buzz here. Drag.
Yeah, we'll get to talk about this here.
Single, buzz roll. Buzz.
Alright, so you can see there, I'm kind of just letting it bounce as many times as possible. So I squeeze a little bit, I press a little bit into the head, and you get this kind of sound, right? Just letting the stick bounce as many times as possible. So the second way that I like to teach doubles, and I think this is the way that John Wooten teaches it in the method. This is one of the ways. Well, maybe not this way. The third way we're going to talk about here in a minute. But
Wooten's a good one.
Is just to feel what it feels like to what you have to do in your hand to transition from playing just a buzz stroke to actually controlling that buzz to where it only plays 2 strokes. And so what I mean, let's try this. So we're going to try a couple of things here. So let's play. what we're going to do. We're going to play 4 normal notes and then 1 buzz with our right hand. And the normal notes are going to keep going. So normal, 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 buzz. So all normal with 1 buzz. Try that. Let's just get that. Let's bring the tempo down a bit. I mean, levels aren't unique sounds weird. We're going to go normal, buzz. And I just want you to feel what it feels like to switch, to have to switch your fingers. Like, what are you doing with your fingers to get that buzz and then switch back to a normal? For me, I squeeze a little bit more with my middle finger. I typically use a middle finger holder. And I kind of get my back 2 fingers out of the way. My pinky and my ring. Buzz stroke and a normal. Again, I feel like I'm kind of engaging my